Hey everyone, Michael Hammond here for your Monday morning fuel up. Hope all of you had a wonderful weekend. I had another fantastic weekend. Daughter and I went to the game this weekend. We were out of town, saw a great game, but more importantly, we just got to spend great quality time together, finding out all the incredible stuff she's doing at work and the accomplishments that she's had. It was just a fun trip. And as I talk about on the weekends, I always try to use the weekends, and I encourage all of you to use the weekends, whether it's to read, whether it's to listen to a podcast. But there is so many opportunities in our daily lives to learn from. Whether it's an interaction with somebody at the stadium, whether it was a great call by the coach, whether it was a incredible grit by a player, or whether it was just an interaction, an everyday interaction where we can learn and apply that to our business lives. I think too many people think that if I'm going to get better in my business, I just got to read all business books or I got to just listen to all business podcasts. No, engage and experience life and try to look at those different experiences and apply them. And I have one that happened for me this weekend. And I want to apply it to the mortgage industry because I think this is an area that's lacking for a number of companies. And so Sunday morning, we went to church, and right after church, we went out to breakfast, my daughter and I, and it was a busy restaurant. You know, you're at a college university setting. There's a lot of people around, and this waitress, probably 2, 3 tables over, was serving a large table, 8, 10 people, big tray, a ton of food on it, and she's coming out of the door with it, and one plate just falls off instantly. That order is trashed. And I've seen this happen in a lot of restaurants, and that person has to try serving the food and then pick it up. They feel embarrassed. Everyone's looking at them. No one's helping. Not at this restaurant. It was almost like it was orchestrated perfectly. It was kind of a beautiful thing to watch, and that's why I'm sharing it with you today. As soon as that hit the ground, the person who was at the hostess stand instantly leaned into the kitchen and said it was the cinnamon French toast. She started helping clean up. 2 other people came over from the restaurant. One helped the other girl clean up. The other one helped the other server with all of the food. And within 1 or 2 minutes, everything was cleaned up. It was not a big deal. The food was coming out for that one person, so they didn't miss out on eating a hot breakfast with everyone else in their table. And I was just amazed at how well that was orchestrated. And the only way you can orchestrate something like that is through great training and, more importantly, through a great culture. A culture that is more focused on what's best for the company and for the customer instead of what's just in it for me. And I think so many times people get focused on, well, it's not my job. Well, they should have been more careful. I told them not to carry 10 damn meals at the same time. That's not the attitude that's going to get it done. And in the mortgage industry, we need to see more of this teamwork and this culture of doing whatever it takes to accomplish the mission. I see this at trade shows very often. You see 2 people on the marketing staff or 2 people on the event staff, and they're sweating like crazy. They're putting the booth together, and everyone else is like, yeah, that's not my job. They came in early. That's what they get paid to do. Really? And when you have that mindset, guess what? Those are the same booths that have crickets throughout the whole show because you don't have teamwork. You just have somebody showing up for their hour or 2 hours of booth duty. They're not happy to be there and they can't wait to go out tonight and do something. And it's not just conferences or trade shows. It's how do sales and marketing interact and sync up together and work together for the greater good. The companies that do that have a ton of leads. They have a bunch of appointments at the shows. You can't just say, well, that's the underwriter's job, or the underwriter saying, well, the LO should have got that information. How do we make it work better together? And it's coming together and syncing and not just saying that was someone else's job. It's pulling together. It was a beautiful thing to watch, and it was a simple example of where you can find inspiration, of where you can find companies doing it the right way in this little restaurant in a college town, right? They just did it right. Didn't make a big deal. Most people never even saw what happened because it was orchestrated so well. I told my daughter the story about 5 times. She was looking at me like, Dad, what's the big deal? but I could tell that it was the culture and the training that they received. So this week, focus on what can you do as you lean in for MBA Annual, as you lean into other conferences, as you look to embrace AI and do other things within your organization. Are you training your people and equipping them? And most importantly, are you building a culture that is going to allow people to succeed and do what needs to be done to accomplish the mission at hand? Go out there and have an amazingly blessed week and always be adding value.